Seeing no further discussion, the chair recognizes Gentleman Potawatomi, Representative Forristall, for closing remarks on House File 549.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very spirited one-way discussion so far, I guess. And Representative Stade, I've gotten 30 or 40 copies of that same email. Now, whenever you get 30 or 40 copies of an identical email, I think you have to consider the fact that maybe something's going on there. Do you really think that 30 or 40 people would compose the same identical word-for-word email? You know the emails I value? They're from constituents, and they're written individually. They are their thoughts. It's not the thought of some political agitator. Now, first here, let's look at what this bill as amended actually accomplishes. When we open an arbitrator's award to anywhere within the confines of the final offers of an impasse item, it simply means that the award can be within the scope of reality. So if the employer is offering 1% and the union is demanding 9%, the arbitrator can choose something that is real. By including non-public employees in the comparison of wages, hours, and conditions of employment, we recognize that all staff positions in public education have analogs in private industry jobs. I would remind you that there are about 54,000 Iowa children in non-public schools, all of whom are taught by Iowa licensed teachers. And perhaps the most important feature of this bill is the restrictions placed on the arbitrators in regard to consideration of economic adjustments, the effect of such adjustments, and the power of school districts to levy taxes. And school districts are unique in the myriad of levies that are available to them, and let me just name a few. There's the instruction support levy, the physical plant and equipment levy, the at-risk levy, the management levy, the gifted and talented levy, the community education levy, the unspent balance levy. And what does levy mean? It means they have the power to raise taxes. The minority party has made this a debate about education and education funding, so let's talk about that. I spent 18 years of my life being educated, attending high school, getting a high school degree, a bachelor's degree, graduate degrees. And then for the rest of my life, I've participated in education and promoted education. As a board member of my community college, as a member of the Iowa Community College Council, the Iowa State Board of Education, and the Iowa House Education Committee. I've taught marketing concepts to farmers, and I've tutored individuals, helping them to get license in insurance and securities. But most importantly, I've been married for 36 years to a public school music teacher. That means I come home a lot of nights from working in the field, and I have to fix my own dinner because it's time for the school play or the school musical or a program in high school or rehearsals or this and that and everything. So I understand what it's like to be involved in the life of a teacher. Education occurs within the real world. And last Friday, I visited 2 elementary schools. In the lower elementary school, the average class size was 15, and in the upper elementary, it was 18. And when I marveled at those class sizes, you know what the principal told me? He said, well, you know, if you were to talk to the principal at the high school, he's going to tell you he had to make some sacrifices to make this happen. He said, it's all about setting priorities. Majority party in this House has demonstrated that education is the top priority by increasing state support for K-12 schools by over $1.5 billion per year since becoming the majority party in 2011. And we demonstrated that again by committing half of all the newly available dollars to K-12 in the next fiscal year. And we did that on day 15 of this session. And we sent it immediately over to the Senate. And what did they do? They sat on it for weeks. And then, rather than amending our bill and sending it back, they wrote a new bill. So we had to run it through our entire system, delaying the whole thing by no more weeks. Now, in a few weeks, Representative Dave Heaton, he'll be standing before us presenting the Health and Human Services budget. And I have no doubt that we will see budget-busting amendments to that bill. And he will be asked, why can't we commit more money for people who desperately need it? And he will have to say, because we've already committed over half of the money we have to K-12 education. Finally, let's talk about politics. Now, some of you feel that you gain by lobbing blame bombs at your political opponents. But I contend that the public is more sophisticated than you seem to believe. I think the public is looking for responsible financial leadership. I think the public recognizes political posturing and pandering when they see it. Mature leadership requires the recognition that everyone deserves a place at the table, even the taxpayer. Mr. Speaker, I move House File 549.